Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome back to the Islamic SHAHADA channel. New York City, often described as the world's economic and cultural capital, is home to over 8.5 million residents representing nearly every nationality and religion on Earth. Beneath its illuminated skyline and constant movement lies one of the most diverse Muslim populations in the Western Hemisphere. According to recent estimates, approximately 750,000 Muslims live in New York City, accounting for nearly 9% of its total population. This makes Islam the fastest growing and one of the most visible faiths in the city. The sound of the adhan, or Islamic call to prayer, can occasionally be heard across neighborhoods such as Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx, areas with some of the largest concentrations of Muslim residents. In Brooklyn alone, districts like Bay Ridge, Kensington, and Flatbush host vibrant Muslim communities composed of immigrants and second-generation Americans from more than 50 countries, including Yemen, Bangladesh, Egypt, Pakistan, and Senegal. These neighborhoods reflect a broader trend: the steady integration of Islam into the cultural and civic life of New York City. New York's Muslim population is not defined by a single ethnic or socioeconomic group. It includes professionals working in finance and technology, small business owners, university professors, healthcare workers, and public servants. Muslims in New York City contribute significantly to the social and economic fabric of the metropolis, operating thousands of halal restaurants, small markets, and service businesses that cater not only to Muslim customers, but to the city's general public as well. The city is also home to more than 285 mosques, one of the highest concentrations of Islamic institutions in any Western city. These range from small neighborhood prayer halls to major institutions such as the Islamic Cultural Center of New York, located on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Built in 1991, it was the first mosque in the city specifically designed as an Islamic center rather than being converted from an existing structure. Today, it functions as both a place of worship and a hub for interfaith dialogue, education, and community outreach. For many Muslims, practicing their faith in New York City involves balancing the demands of urban life with religious obligations. The 5 daily prayers, fasting during Ramadan, and community gatherings must all coexist with the fast-paced environment of one of the world's busiest cities. Yet, this coexistence has become a defining feature of Muslim life in New York, demonstrating that religious identity can persist and adapt even within a deeply secular and pluralistic context. The visibility of Islam in New York City continues to grow, not only through religious institutions, but also through civic engagement and public representation. Muslim Americans now serve in city government, education boards, and law enforcement, reflecting a gradual but steady inclusion within the city's democratic structures. At the same time, challenges such as Islamophobia, discrimination, and zoning disputes over mosque construction remain ongoing issues that shape the Muslim experience in New York. New York City stands as a microcosm of global Islam in a Western context, a place where faith and modernity intersect daily. The city's Muslim community has established itself not as an isolated minority, but as an integral part of the city's evolving identity. Beneath the lights of the skyline and the sound of endless traffic, Islam in New York continues to grow, adapt, and redefine what it means to live faithfully in the heart of a modern metropolis. As of 2025, New York City is home to an estimated 1 million Muslims, representing nearly 9% of the city's total population. This makes it the largest and most diverse Muslim community in the United States, surpassing those of Chicago, Detroit, and Houston. Islam has become a significant part of New York's social and cultural landscape, influencing education, politics, business, and interfaith dialogue throughout the 5 boroughs. The Muslim population in New York City is extraordinarily diverse, encompassing communities from across the globe. Immigrants and their descendants from South Asia, particularly Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India, make up a significant portion of the city's Muslim residents. Another major group includes West Africans, with large populations from Senegal, Mali, Guinea, and Nigeria. In addition, the city hosts long-established Arab American communities from Yemen, Egypt, Lebanon, and Palestine, as well as growing numbers of Muslims from the Caribbean, including Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Jamaica. African American Muslims, whose presence in the city dates back to the early 20th century, continue to play a central role in shaping the religious and cultural life of Islam in New York. Muslims are distributed across all 5 boroughs of the city, each reflecting a distinct demographic and cultural mix. Brooklyn holds the largest Muslim population, with neighborhoods such as Bay Ridge, Kensington, and East New York serving as strong community centers. These areas feature numerous mosques, halal markets, and Islamic schools. Queens, known for being the most ethnically diverse county in the United States, is home to significant Bangladeshi, Pakistani, and Afghan communities, especially in Jackson Heights, Jamaica, and Astoria. The Bronx hosts many West African and Arab Muslims, with community centers and mosques providing social support and educational programs for new immigrants. Manhattan has a smaller but influential Muslim presence, centered around institutions like the Islamic Cultural Center of New York and Masjid Manhattan, serving both local worshipers and visiting professionals. Staten Island, while the least populated borough, has seen gradual growth in its Muslim community, particularly among Arab and South Asian families seeking quieter residential areas. This geographic distribution highlights how Islam in New York City mirrors the city's broader character: decentralized, diverse, and community-driven. Rather than being concentrated in a single enclave, Muslim life is integrated across neighborhoods, workplaces, and schools. Mosques in these boroughs function not only as religious institutions, but also as cultural and social anchors, providing food assistance, language classes, and youth programs. New York City is home to one of the highest concentrations of mosques in the Western world. Estimates from research organizations such as the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding, ISPU, and the Association of Religion Data Archives, ARDA, indicate that there are between 200 and 300 mosques spread across the 5 boroughs. These institutions range from large, architecturally significant centers to small, community-run spaces located in converted storefronts, basements, and residential buildings. Together, they form the backbone of Muslim communal life in the city. At the heart of this network stands the Islamic Cultural Center of New York, ICCNY, located on East 96th Street in Manhattan. Completed in 1991, it was the city's first purpose-built mosque and remains one of its most recognizable Islamic institutions. Funded largely by contributions from Muslim-majority countries and local donors, ICCNY serves not only as a place of worship, but also as a center for education, interfaith dialogue, and cultural exchange. Its Friday sermons and public programs attract a diverse audience, from diplomats and professionals to students and local residents, reflecting the cosmopolitan nature of Islam in New York City. Beyond Manhattan, the majority of mosques are concentrated in Brooklyn and Queens, where most of the city's Muslim population resides. In Brooklyn, neighborhoods like Bay Ridge, Kensington, and East New York host dozens of mosques serving Arab, South Asian, and African American communities. Some of these mosques occupy entire buildings, while others function in modest spaces, such as basements or former retail shops. They often operate schools, youth mentorship programs, and charity initiatives that extend beyond religious boundaries. In Queens, the diversity of the borough is mirrored in its mosques. The Masjid Al-Falah in Corona and the Jamaica Muslim Center are 2 of the most prominent institutions, serving primarily Bangladeshi and South Asian congregations. Smaller mosques in Astoria and Flushing cater to Egyptian, Turkish, and Indonesian communities, providing language classes, immigration support, and cultural programs. The Bronx is home to a growing number of West African and Arab Muslim communities. Many mosques here began in rented apartments or converted basements, later expanding as congregations grew. These institutions often function as centers for mutual aid, offering food distribution, housing support, and guidance for new immigrants adapting to life in the United States. Despite limited resources, Bronx mosques are known for their strong community networks and grassroots activism, particularly around social justice and youth engagement. In Staten Island, the Muslim community is smaller but steadily expanding. The Muslim American Society Center and local prayer halls in Midland Beach and Stapleton serve families from diverse backgrounds, including Arabs, South Asians, and converts to Islam. These institutions emphasize community integration and interfaith outreach, working closely with churches and local civic groups. Between 2024 and 2025, New York City became a primary destination for thousands of new Muslim migrants and asylum seekers, particularly from West Africa, including Senegal, Mauritania, Mali, Guinea, and Gambia. Many of these migrants arrived through the U.S.-Mexico border, part of a broader wave of humanitarian displacement driven by political instability, poverty, and climate-related crises in their home countries. The city's already diverse Muslim population suddenly found itself at the center of an unfolding social and humanitarian challenge, one that tested both community capacity and compassion. New York's Muslim organizations and mosques quickly emerged as frontline responders. With limited government support and overwhelmed shelter systems, several mosques opened their doors to provide emergency housing, meals, and clothing to incoming migrants. In the Bronx, for instance, local West African mosques transformed prayer halls into temporary dormitories, allowing families to sleep on donated mats and blankets. Volunteers, often other immigrants who once faced similar struggles, coordinated food distribution, legal assistance, and job search support. Masjid Aqsa Salam in Harlem and several West African-led mosques in Brooklyn's Flatbush and Bronx's Highbridge neighborhoods became informal humanitarian centers. Imams worked alongside local nonprofits and interfaith coalitions to connect migrants with pro bono immigration lawyers, healthcare services, and English language classes. This grassroots mobilization reflected not only religious duty, but also the continuation of a long-standing tradition of mutual aid within Muslim communities. By late 2024, city officials acknowledged that religious institutions, especially mosques, were playing a crucial role in mitigating the migrant crisis. While the New York City Department of Homeless Services struggled with capacity limits, Muslim-led organizations such as Muslim Community Network, MCN, Muslim Women's Institute for Research and Development, MWIRD, and ICNA Relief provided parallel support systems. Their work demonstrated how faith-based structures could fill gaps left by public policy. In interviews conducted by Al Jazeera and the New York Times, migrants described mosques as their first home in America. Many said they were drawn to New York City because they had relatives or ethnic networks already established there. Others came with little more than faith and hope, relying on the hospitality of local Muslim communities. Friday sermons across the city frequently addressed the issue, encouraging congregants to donate money, food, and time to assist newcomers. This crisis also revealed the internal diversity and resilience of New York's Muslim population. Established communities, from Bangladeshi to Arab and African American Muslims, collaborated across ethnic and linguistic lines to support those newly arrived. Such cooperation strengthened inter-community ties and underscored the shared Islamic principle of ummah, or collective solidarity. In November 2025, the city of New York elected Zohran Mamdani as its 111th mayor, marking a historic moment as he became the city's first Muslim to hold the office, the first person of South Asian descent to do so, and at age 34, the youngest mayor in more than a century. His campaign mobilized a broad coalition of working-class New Yorkers, many of whom had long felt underrepresented in city politics. He openly emphasized his immigrant background, his Muslim identity, and his progressive agenda, pledging rent freezes, free public buses, universal childcare, and stronger migrant protections. For the Muslim community in New York City, his election carried profound symbolic weight. After decades of being a minority faith often sidelined in local governance, many Muslims expressed that they finally felt seen and recognized, that their contributions to the city's civic and cultural life had at last yielded electoral visibility. Reports noted that the victory was viewed not only as a personal triumph for Mamdani, but as an affirmation of Muslim civic identity in a major Western metropolis. At the same time, the result brings new challenges and expectations. The Muslim community's hopes are now tied to tangible policy outcomes and to the maintenance of inclusive representation. Mamdani's ambitious agenda and the pressures of city governance raise questions about how effectively symbolic representation will translate into institutional change. As one analyst noted, "We're going to hold him accountable." The rise of political representation for Muslims in New York City is no longer just about access or visibility. It is about translating that visibility into power and policy. The mayoral win signals that a community long on the margins of local governance is now stepping into the center of it. Shortly after Zohran Mamdani's historic victory as New York City's first Muslim mayor in November 2025, a new wave of Islamophobia began to surface across both digital and physical spaces of the city. While his win symbolized representation and progress for nearly 1 million Muslims in New York, it also exposed long-standing prejudices that had never truly disappeared. According to the Council on American Islamic Relations of New York, CAIRNY, online hate targeting Muslims spiked dramatically during and immediately after the mayoral election. Between June and October 2025 alone, over 35,000 Islamophobic posts were recorded from more than 17,000 accounts, reaching an estimated 1.5 billion views globally. These posts ranged from disinformation about Islamic law to outright hate speech portraying Mamdani and Muslim New Yorkers as foreigners or security threats. The digital hate campaign quickly translated into real-world hostility. CAIRNY reported an increase in bias-motivated incidents, including verbal harassment, vandalism, and targeted hate crimes. In Brooklyn, a man shouted anti-Muslim slurs outside Masjid Nur al-Islam. In Manhattan, a Muslim Uber driver was pepper-sprayed after reciting a short Arabic prayer in his car. And on a college campus, a Muslim prayer room was found vandalized with offensive graffiti. Each incident reflected a deeper misunderstanding, not just of Islam, but of what it means to be Muslim in America's most diverse city. Surveys by CAIRNY and the Muslim Community Network show that more than 60% of Muslim New Yorkers have personally experienced Islamophobia, and 3/4 of Muslim women who wear hijab report being targeted for their appearance. The majority of cases occur in public spaces like subways, schools, and workplaces, often unreported because victims believe little will be done. This environment of subtle fear and exclusion continues to shape daily Muslim life, even as the city prides itself on multiculturalism. Misunderstanding remains one of the most persistent barriers. Many still associate Islam with violence or political extremism. Stereotypes rooted in decades of biased media coverage and post-9/11 narratives. For many New Yorkers, Islam is still seen as the other, despite Muslims being doctors, teachers, cab drivers, and neighbors who have contributed to every layer of city life for generations. Yet the Muslim community's response has been defined by resilience and outreach rather than anger. Mosques and community organizations across the boroughs, from Queens to the Bronx, have intensified interfaith dialogue, opened their doors for public visits, and organized joint service programs with churches and synagogues. Campaigns such as #IamMuslimNYC and educational initiatives by the New York City Department of Education are helping challenge prejudice by normalizing Muslim identity within civic life. Mayor Mamdani himself has addressed these tensions directly. In public speeches, he emphasized that his faith does not divide him from the people of New York, but connects him to the city's shared values of justice, compassion, and equality. His election, while met with hostility from some, has become a moment of reckoning for others, forcing New Yorkers to reflect on whether their city truly stands for inclusion. The struggle against Islamophobia in New York City is far from over. It now takes the form of everyday microaggressions, online disinformation, and institutional bias that cannot be erased overnight. But what stands out is the community's determination to remain visible and engaged, to respond not with isolation, but with participation. Through continued advocacy, education, and civic involvement, Muslim New Yorkers are reshaping the narrative, proving that Islam is not an outsider's faith, but an integral part of the city's identity, as permanent and essential to its skyline as the lights that define it. Beyond the headlines and political debates, the true face of Islam in New York City is found in the rhythm of everyday life. In the people who quietly keep the city running. Muslims here are not defined by controversy or conflict, but by ordinary acts of faith and work that weave seamlessly into the fabric of urban existence. Every morning, thousands of Muslim taxi and rideshare drivers begin their shifts before dawn, navigating the city's endless traffic while balancing the discipline of prayer with the demands of long hours on the road. It is common to see a driver pull over near a quiet curb, spreading a small prayer mat on the sidewalk or in the back of his vehicle to fulfill one of the 5 daily prayers before continuing his route. For many, their cars are both a workplace and a sanctuary. In universities like Columbia, NYU, and the City College of New York, young Muslim students represent the new face of America's diversity. Many are the children of immigrants, pursuing degrees in medicine, law, and technology. For hijabi students, walking across campus is both a statement of identity and a test of confidence. They navigate classrooms where curiosity often meets ignorance, yet they carry themselves with quiet dignity, proof that faith and intellect coexist without contradiction. In Manhattan, the aroma of sizzling meat and spices fills the air as halal food carts serve millions of New Yorkers every year. These vendors, many from Egypt, Bangladesh, or Afghanistan, have become cultural icons of the city itself. For them, selling halal food is not merely a business, it is an expression of identity and service. Each meal they serve is a small act of hospitality, an everyday bridge between communities. Meanwhile, in the creative neighborhoods of Brooklyn, a new generation of Muslim artists, poets, and filmmakers are redefining what it means to be Muslim in America. Their work explores identity, migration, spirituality, and belonging, challenging the stereotypes that once confined Muslim narratives to narrow spaces. Through art galleries, spoken word events, and film festivals, they are asserting that being Muslim is not a limitation, but a lens through which life can be seen with greater depth and compassion. Across New York's 5 boroughs, Muslims are also doctors, firefighters, teachers, small business owners, and city officials. They contribute to every layer of the city's social and economic life. Their presence is not new, nor is it foreign. It is part of a long continuum of immigrant stories that built New York into what it is today. The message they share, implicitly or openly, is clear. We are not outsiders, we are New Yorkers. Their mosques stand beside churches and synagogues, their children play in the same parks, their laughter echoes through the same subway tunnels. For them, Islam is not a separate world within the city, but a living faith that moves with the pulse of New York itself. Through faith, work, and daily resilience, Muslim New Yorkers are demonstrating that to be Muslim here is not about separation, but about contribution. A testament that diversity is not merely tolerated in this city, but lived every single day. In a city often described as the world's crossroads, interfaith cooperation has become one of New York's quiet strengths. Beyond theological dialogue, it has evolved into a shared civic mission, one where Muslims, Jews, and Christians work side by side to address the moral and humanitarian challenges of urban life. Across the 5 boroughs, faith-based organizations collaborate on initiatives that go far beyond their own congregations. At the height of the winter season, mosques such as the Islamic Cultural Center of New York and Masjid at-Taqwa partner with nearby churches and synagogues to provide food and temporary shelter for the city's growing homeless population. These programs are not occasional gestures, but regular, organized efforts that embody the shared ethic of compassion found in all Abrahamic traditions. Educational programs have also become an important bridge. Muslim-led groups like the Muslim Community Network, MCN, frequently hold workshops with Jewish and Christian schools, teaching students about faith literacy, civic responsibility, and shared values. Interfaith coalitions like the New York Interfaith Council for Justice now advocate collectively on issues such as affordable housing, child education, and immigrant rights, viewing social justice not as a political agenda, but as a moral duty. After the surge of Islamophobic sentiment during the 2025 mayoral election, many rabbis, priests, and pastors across the city publicly expressed solidarity with the Muslim community, attending Friday prayers and hosting joint events. In turn, Muslim leaders joined interfaith vigils against anti-Semitism and hate crimes, reinforcing that prejudice against one group threatens the humanity of all. This growing spirit of cooperation reflects an essential truth about New York City, that faith diversity here is not a source of division, but a foundation for collective resilience. Within this coexistence lies an evolving model of urban spirituality, one that transforms religious identity from a private belief into a public force for good. As night falls over New York City, the rhythm of life slows, but never stops. From the glowing towers of Manhattan to the quiet streets of Queens, the call to Maghrib prayer mingles with the sound of sirens, trains, and distant chatter. It is a familiar harmony in a city that never truly sleeps. Here, Islam exists not as an isolated faith, but as part of the city's heartbeat, a reminder that belief can thrive even in the most secular of places. In the midst of skyscrapers and stock exchanges, Muslims pause to pray, to reflect, to serve. Their presence tells a deeper story about New York, that faith, in all its forms, continues to anchor humanity amid the speed and ambition of modern life. For many Muslims, living in New York means balancing devotion with daily survival, the same balance that defines the city itself. It is about striving while believing, succeeding while remembering one's values. The story of Islam in New York is therefore not one of separation or assimilation, but of integration, a story where faith finds expression in action, and identity finds dignity in diversity. In the end, Islam in New York is neither foreign nor new. It is a continuation of the same narrative that built this city, of immigrants seeking opportunity, of communities building hope, and of people holding on to their faith amid constant change. As the evening call to prayer echoes softly between the skyscrapers, it becomes clear that this sound, once distant, now familiar, belongs here. It is part of the city's music, part of its conscience, and part of its story. Islam in New York is, ultimately, faith alive in the city that never sleeps. Thanks for watching until the end. I hope it was useful. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.